So this first play is a great example of what I'm talking about when I speak about chunking up the offense and defense in transition to see who's relevant in the play and who's not. So we'll take it back from the rebound. One of the first things to look at is how quickly they get out in transition. It helps that Dietrich, the point guard, gets the rebound, but see how quickly she just gets it, pushes the ball ahead, and gets her eyes up. Now this is a great frame because you can see all 10 players on the court, you can see where the ball is, who's involved in the play, and who's not. And remember, we're doing this breakdown now so that in the game we don't have to stop and do the math and figure it out. We can just play off feel and see where we have the advantage. And here, the advantage is a pretty clear 4-on-2, which anytime, even if you have just one more player than the defense, you can spread out and make them make tough decisions, and you should be able to find an easy score. So you watch how wide the offense runs and how hard they're running. And then Dietrich does a great job kicking the ball ahead, which is even faster than just going off the dribble, which essentially turns this play into a 2-on-1, if we're talking about chunking and who's involved and who's not. Now it's really just a matter of making that one defender make a tough decision. And then, of course, Carter does a nice job waiting to the last second to draw that defender and getting it to her teammate for an easy layup. And just another look at a nice pass here, because you don't want to get to the end of a break with that advantage and blow it by being too predictable. So she does a good job, like I said, getting that defender to come out and then dishing it. So that last play was a pretty clear 4-on-2 advantage. This one, we're going off the turnover, which is where a lot of transition offense is going to come from, obviously. The defense is not ready. And the advantage is not quite as crystal clear as the last one. So going off this steal, again, we'll look at who's in the play and who's not quite in the play. So here, if we're going off where the ball handler is, it might look like we have a 3-on-3, right? There's 3 defenders ahead of the ball. But we can see that Alysha Clark here is not really involved in the play. She's not making that effort to get back, and she's not in any position to guard that player in front of her or the ball handler. So really what we have is this 3-on-2. So we got our numbers advantage, and it's just a matter of spacing and timing. You see how wide the offense is running down the sidelines, and then Danielle Robinson waits until the defender makes a bit of a decision. She comes up too high, and she puts that pass right on the money for McBride for an easy layup. Now, this play is a little more unconventional to me in terms of executing a fast break, but it's a great example of when you run the floor and you have a numbers advantage, the defense mathematically just cannot guard all of you. So we'll see again who's involved in the transition play and who's not, and how they find the open man after the defense makes decisions. So we can see Chelsea Gray is surveying the floor, and her teammates are doing a great job of running super wide, staying spread out so the defense has to make tough decisions. Now, these 2 players are technically about in line with the ball, but when we look at their body language and momentum, we can see they're not really going to get back and they're not really involved in the play, especially in transition when we kick it up quickly. So, again, if we break it down in the freeze frame, we really have a 4-on-3 advantage, which is a little more complicated than the last 2, but it's the same concept that the defense can't guard all of you if you stay spread out and time your passes well. And remember, the kick ahead is always going to be quicker in transition than the dribble. So I like this pass ahead. She gives it to the one player that's not really being guarded at the moment, forces that defender to come out, leaving the basket wide open for Candace Parker, which, that's a pretty high percentage shot. Now, this play is great because Sue Bird is a great point guard to watch in transition. And it's more about the momentum of the play than chunking up those numbers in the freeze frame. So first, and we love this tendency in a point guard, watch how she gets the ball and gets her eyes up straight away. She's already surveying the floor and looking ahead to see if there's a fast break opportunity. Now, if we break this play down like we did the others, there seems to be no advantage, right? We can see all 5 offensive players, and there's 3 defenders back. So in that sense, when we're talking about chunking up the offense and defense in transition, there should be no advantage, right? But instead, we're going to look at the momentum of the defenders and the body language. And in this case, we're looking at Jackie Young right here. In this particular case, she should be the one to get back to the basket and pick up Breanna Stewart. but we can see her momentum and her direction change as she's on her way to go pick up one of those other two players on the perimeter, leaving an open lane straight to the basket for Breanna Stewart. Then Sue Bird, as she does so well, throws that pass right on the money to where only Breanna Stewart can get it, right in stride, wasting no time, easy layup. So in this play, going off the steal, it's another good example of looking at momentum and body language more than that chunking up the offense and defense. And in this case, which is actually fairly common, it was just a matter of who's running the floor harder than everybody else. So Taurasi gets this steal and immediately starts pushing the ball, getting her eyes up, seeing if there's an advantage there. So if we're looking at that numbers game and chunking up the offense and defense like before, you can see those 6 players behind her almost in perfect line, and really it looks like a 2-on-2. But as Taurasi with the ball lets the play develop, we can see that Turner here is actually making the effort to break ahead of the pack, which sometimes transition is that simple where the person who runs harder gets the layup. So what we really have is this 4-on-2. And in a fast-paced, disadvantaged situation, it's not uncommon to see the defense make a mistake. And you see Mitchell under the basket, definitely going the wrong direction on that play, and leaves Turner wide open for the layup.